the Industry Advisory Board was actually set up with PEER back when PEER was an NSF center many years ago, and it's continued its life through PEER's entire existence as a result. And the idea really is to try and link PEER with the practicing profession, if you will, or the industry at large, rather than just the research community. So we think it is a pretty important function. And you can see the members of the board at this point. So they're practicing engineers and geotechnical engineers, and then someone from Caltrans. We also have representatives from PG&E now as well, so a couple of the key sponsors of PEER research. So the board is formed from what we call building or business and industry partners, members. And so these are firms that support PEER with some funding every year to basically have the opportunity to participate and be of assistance to PEER. And so this is this slide shows a list of the different firms that are PEER members, and they all have the option of joining the Industry Advisory Board based on that membership. So you can see hopefully a number of familiar names to many of you: structural engineers, geotechnical engineers, construction companies, etc. And then as well as a software company that's in the insurance industry, I believe. So just some of the important things or the roles of the IAB within the PEER structure is to really think from the industry side about what the current and future expected needs of the profession are, so that we can kind of share that with PEER's leadership. We meet with Amarnath and Khalid Masalam 3 or 4 times a year to talk about these sorts of things. And then advise on industry problems and applications where we think there is research potential. And then hopefully to be a bridge, so that if from your side, as researchers, if you'd like to get industry input, you can request it from the PEER IAB. And if none of our members have that specific expertise that could help you on the project that you're looking into, then certainly we would hope to be able to point you in the right direction and maybe make a connection for you. Facilitate opportunities for PEER to pursue research. So that would be, again, just showing the commitment of the industry to hopefully give PEER a better opportunity to get funds from various sources, and then interact with other PEER committees as needed. So what I thought I'd do for the last couple minutes here is to talk with you about a few of the things that our group has talked about in our most recent meeting as topics that we think might be of interest to PEER researchers, and areas that we think have future research needs. And one of the first ones is, and a big one, is the topic of functional recovery, which is a very hot topic with the engineering profession here in California right now. It's going to be debated at our state legislature to see if we want to move up the requirements for new design in using the building code to not just be a life safety standard, but really a functional recovery standard as a means of resilience to future earthquakes. So and there's a lot of unknowns about how to make that happen. What kind of information do we need about the performance of structures and elements in order to bring that to case or to bear. Also talking about, similarly for existing structures or buildings, how do we enhance their life with seismic retrofits, upgrades, evaluations, really understanding their performance better. There's some thoughts about updating HAZUS, which some of you may know is part of the background to the use of ShakeCast or Shake Alerts. And HAZUS tool has not really been updated in probably 10 to 15 years or maybe more. There's a lot of new information that might give better information or better basis for the ShakeCast estimates in future earthquakes. there was a comment that was made as to how can peer tap into the $75 billion budget surplus of the state of California this year, and maybe get some additional research funding. So that was something that the committee talked about. And then talked about strengthening community ties, whether it be with structural engineers associations, student chapters on campuses, Cosmos, et cetera. So, and really maybe organizing some webinars that could be put on by peer researchers that we could bring to the community at large. And we also brought up a couple of new topics that the group hadn't been focused on in the past, which are peers and wars and their resilience, as well as performance-based earthquake engineering for wind, which is a new topic. There's a new pre-standard out on that, but again, there's many gaps in the knowledge, and how to apply that pre-standard that we feel that peer research could help. So we were able to bring on two new IAB members, Gail Johnson on the peers and wharves side, and Don Scott on the wind side, to help us kind of potentially move that forward with peer going forward. So that's a little bit of background on the IAB. And again, we would look forward to working or facilitating research or helping to interact with the researchers where you think would be helpful. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. There are many great initiatives from IAB. Thank you for that.